so I went and, you know, I went to Liverpool, but this time coming back round was like, everything was another level again. Professionalism, discipline, all fitted into how I need to live my life as a footballer, and I just fitted straight in. You know, the group of boys, and just, you know, I never come across such a group of boys who want to work hard and want to do so much for their mates and the team around them, and the manager and his staff as well. It's just, it's a group coming together. It's the biggest, it's the best group I've ever been involved with in football. Yeah, definitely. And it's a real close-knit club, and that's why we are where we are in the league. It's not because we're the most talented team in the world. It's because if someone's out of position, another guy will come and cover for him. And that for me is really not just exciting me, but it's refreshing, but also I've really grasped it and enjoyed every second of that. You know, my discipline in myself has really got to me. It's got where I am. There's, you know, there's players with more ability than me, definitely, but my discipline, my attitude to training and professionalism is really what's carried me, you know, to where I am now, definitely. And I try and emphasise that with young players as much as I can. That, look, your attitude has to be so good, because you compete. I don't think a lot of them realise now who they're up against. You're not up against the best kids in the UK anymore. You're up against the best kids in the world for a position. And some of them, I don't feel understand that. And, you know, little things like, if you're going to sprint to a comb, sprint to the comb. Don't jog to it, or even, you know, if you're going to do 5 minutes on a bike, you do 5 minutes, 5.5 if you've got to. You don't do 4.55. And it's just those tiny little margins really make up to where you can go in your career. I don't know what they're doing in some academies that I've seen. I just, you know, you've got some boys come in, not even bothered if they impress, not even bothered if, they're not. You got a young 18-year-old kid driving a Mercedes into the club. You know, I could never. I didn't start driving until I was 22. Do I agree with the stuff I had to do? Probably not to that extent, because when I was at academy, I was not just cleaning boots. I had to make my man tea, coffee, clean his car.
Who was yours? Who was it?
A guy called John Poston, who was a pain in the ass. He was a pain. He wasn't nice to work for, to be honest. But then we had to do the changing rooms, our changing rooms, their changing rooms, managers' changing rooms, make sure the balls, bibs. You imagine it was all done. We were there to and we didn't leave till late, and it taught me discipline. I believed everyone had to have the same motivation, the same drive as me. If they didn't, but that's completely unrealistic. We're all very different. We all have our own motivations, and for me, as a, you know, to get into management, would want to try and pick all, like, trying to find every little. If I sign a player, I want to know. I would have clocked this player for a good year and a half. I would have watched him train secretly before I go and sign him. I know his mentality, I know his wife's name, I know his kids, I know everything about the boy before I bring him in. You know, like I go back to Mourinho is because I spoke to Patrick Vieira and I was like, who's the best manager you've worked with? And I straight away expected Wenger, and of course, because he had such. And he said Mourinho. He said I weren't even playing. I wasn't playing, and he would call me in out of the blue, said, look, 2 weeks I'm going to play you against Catania. You know, I was never happy. So there's always that inner anger inside you as well. Even good games, even games I had, I thought, which I was outstanding, and I looked at the bad points. You know, there was every game, every single game. There was no such thing as a perfect game for me. I used to beat myself up over the stuff that I didn't do, which is just nuts. You know, they're not rituals, they're not superstitions, and where before I was just murder for them. Yeah, I'd leave the same. If I won a game, I'd leave the same time, wear the same suit. But if the traffic light went at, say, I knew what traffic light it was, and if it went red, then I'm like, oh shit, it was green last week.
What, on the way to a game?
Yeah, that type of just nuts. Listen, we got one shot at this career. One shot, and it's such a, you could have such a life from this game.